Hey, thanks for tuning in to Rhino's Resto Mod. I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year and see what we got planned for this year. If you've watched some of the previous videos, you've seen that I've been working on a 56 Nomad and that I've been working on a 265 engine for that. So, I pretty much have that cleaned up, measured out, ordered some parts for it. When those come in, we'll go over that. But in the meantime, we need to continue to work on something. As I said in the story before, the Nomad came up. It was what do you say, a bucket list item that I wanted. So I bought it, got excited about it, started working on it, cleaning it out. I have it all in the other garage. So I'm here at the house today trying to work on this to keep progress on one of the two projects. So we'll go over this one today and I'll explain to you what my plan is. So the plan for this car was, it's a two-door post, obviously. But the plan for this, when I bought it, I got it, stored it for a while because I was working on some other projects. But the plan for this car was always to have resto mod it. So one of the things when I bought it, just to give you a little better update on this, is the fact that I think the guy had already taken it off the frame. I'm sure he did. So a lot of body mount bushings are missing. I mean, it looks pretty good from here, but the underside, it's definitely, the floor is gone. So, and then in the rear, we're doing an update on it, but in the rear with the trunk pan, it's not good either. So, I mean, no surprise to anybody, but this is the condition that I bought it in pretty much. So he had the front end blasted, which the fenders are in really good shape. The right side fender, I mean, if you look, like I said, I tried to store it, wiped it down with some rust preventative stuff, but don't even have any rust in the front fender there. The hood is super nice, super straight. This fender is probably the worst. It's got, just some holes there, but obviously can be fixed. And then a few little spots right here. So the thing with this car is, like I said, it's the underneath side of it. So the things that I am concerned about, which I'd like to hear some, as we dig into this a little deeper, what would be the proper way to go about putting a floor and rockers in this is, they had already started doing something, or back in the day, somebody had made some, repairs to this. So they cut part of the door jamb, but obviously you guys see as much as I see. I don't know how much of that's there, how much of it's gone. I've looked up underneath, and it looks like maybe the bottom side of the front of the quarters had been changed. The rear doesn't really look like much has been done. But what I'd like to do is, and I think the process going forward with this would be to, since the rockers are gone and the door jamb's a little messed up back there, and this, is the exact same way. So pretty much, I believe it was a black car. The rockers are in bad shape. And again, they started cutting in that door jamb. I want to peel all that back. But I think one thing I need to do to keep everything straight and square is get the doors back on it. So you've probably seen the doors hanging up in the garage in the back, and they, again, were blasted. I wiped them down with some after blast when I got them to protect them, but you can see they're starting to get a little surface rust on them. So my issue is I need to get those on here so I can get things squared up and adjust the doors to make them look good. And then again, all this stuff needs to come out of here, and then figure out how we go forward with the floor, because I don't think there's no bushings in this car at all. And the rear bushings are the rear part of the floor, like most typical tri-5s, I guess. There's where the bushing goes and there's no floor there. So my plan would be to work from the front back, but get the doors on there. That way I can get the rockers aligned, get these lower part of these quarter panels stripped down, either with some paint stripper or sandpaper or whatever, get this chrome trim off of here, and then like I said, get everything out, take the carpet out, which it looks like it was new, but we'll get this out. I'll make sure I can find the hinges. I'll probably have to get some hardware to mount the doors, and then I'll go from there. But this video here, I really kind of want to, if we can inspect the inside, the floor and the trunk, and anybody has any experience, you know, working with, you know, prior to the, you know, the door jamb already being messed up, let me know, and make sure I'm going about it in the right steps. So next thing we're going to start doing is I'm going to start clearing this out, and then we're take the front sheet metal, and I'll probably put it in the other garage, and then get the carpet and seats, all that out. And I got a table set up over here. We'll start sorting through some of the parts and see where we need to start. So when I bring you back, I'll start getting the sheet metal off. So I got that front sheet metal pulled off, and just to give you, you know, where we're at or the condition of the car, the core support looks pretty good from what I can tell. I assume it is a 6-cylinder, right? Because it's got the flange out on the front. So like I said, the guy had it off the frame, and I believe he cleaned and painted the frame already. It does have disc brakes on it. Sorry about the lighting. This garage is not the most well lit, and it's freezing out here. So I'm in Ohio, and I'll have to look to see what the temperature is today, but it is cold. And I got the heater running, but you know, no ceiling in the garage. No ceiling in the garage. It just pretty much goes up there and just kind of disappears. So unless you're standing in front of the torpedo heater, you don't get any of it. So somebody had put, obviously, power brakes, right? Like I said, front disc. I know it's got rear drums still at some point in its life. And like I said, I believe it was a black car to start with. I believe it was all black just because of the way the trim is on the car. So there's a picture of the body tag. So I haven't really decoded it yet because I wasn't really too concerned. I'm not trying to put it back to original or anything like that. So, but you can see every body bushing, you know, is gone. So when it comes time to put the floor in, obviously I don't think that's a big issue to get it in here. And there's like 3 or 4 in the floor, and then the trunk being as bad as it is, I think, you know, since I can't really use that as a gauge, then I assume that I use the sheet metal as the gauge on where to place it. So that's, I said, that's when we get there, that's what I'll need help with. But like I said, we're keep pulling all this stuff out of here, and we'll see what we got. Okay, here's what we got out of the first load. So this was stuff in the trunk that was in a crate. So really my first time going through it. So it looks like I got my headlight buckets, a couple headlights, the marker lights, 2 sets, I guess, of the headlight trim. So one of the questions I had right away was just the door hinges. So I was looking at them, and they all, well, no, I guess they're a little bit different there. But which is left side, which is right, I'm sure it'll probably show up once I get it on there. But I'll look on the door to see if so I believe this is one side, don't know which side. So if you want to tell me, the first set with the bolt up at the top, and then this one here, like I say, if you turn it the same way, obviously the bolt holes are different. So I can look at the doors and figure out which one goes where. But if there's a difference between top and bottom, let me know, and I'll look there. So I got some window felt trim, a couple of these, 2 of these, and the big one there. And then the window regulator and the battery box. So, and then I assume those are for the lock mechanism. So I haven't come across any of that, door handles and stuff yet. But like I said, we still got to look on the inside. And this was just mainly, looks like some old engine brackets off of something, front motor mounts, horn, battery box, and some hood hinges. And then the door weather strip. So let me start working on the inside of this, see if we got any more boxes in there or what else we can find. One other thing I thought I'd cover while I go ahead and have this emptied out. So, when I was looking at it, up where the shocks are, it didn't look like it was too bad, too much rust. And then even the middle of the floor pan, maybe not so bad. That spot right there is not too good. But what my biggest concern is up in these areas here, right? So you can see somebody's done some work already. And I know they sell this complete panel, but I don't know if people's ever repaired these or not. I mean, down in here, doesn't look too bad, except for everything around the wheel well. And then obviously the last few inches of the trunk pan, not so good. All right. And then same thing on the other side. You can see there's a pretty good sized patch there. And then again, up around the wheel wells. So my first try 5. So any suggestions, any way to repair those versus buying new? I did look, they are quite expensive. And down here around the bottoms, they don't look too bad. So could just be some fabricating, but I assume pull the panel out or pull the quarter off or something, but we're get into that when we get there. So we're going to go ahead and look on the inside and see what other boxes of stuff we can find. Alrighty, I found a cardboard box inside the car full of stuff. So this looks like a lot of the littler stuff. Obviously here's some of the cover pieces. There's 2 more. And then I did find both spears that go on top of on the door. And then not in very good shape, but I think that was, one's the hood and one's the trunk. So at least they're here. And then the bird was in here. Obviously that dude's in pretty rough shape. But everything too, when I look at the car, it obviously wasn't taken apart the first time it was painted because there's overspray on what is taken off of it. So, it looks like the guy that took it apart, that I got it from, it does really look like he kept all the hardware and stuff. So, door handles, I remember him telling me a lot of that. I mean, nothing's in great shape, but, it looks like it's all here. So, in that last box with all the other door stuff, I didn't see the latches, so looks like these are the latches. So I'll probably separate those out a little bit. And then there's one door handle, outer door handle, but again, you can see the blue paint that's on it. And then here's the other handles there too. And then another vent window, a couple door rests, and then I assume that probably, I'm not sure. You guys tell me what that piece there is for. Looks like a regulator for something, probably the door or the vent window, I'm sure. And we got a couple lock cylinders for the door. And then a gasket for something. Another vent window. And then I guess the good part, here's the other one. So that must be for vent windows. And I know they're inside the car. A bracket from who knows where. If you know, let me know. And here's another regulator piece. Probably for the door latch, I'm guessing. There's the other one. And I believe these go on the tops of the fenders. Seen those before. But then what's nice that I did notice is it looks like there's the latch. There's some buttons for the inside dome light. All this stuff for the door handles, the springs, the little washers, all the bolts and nuts. So I'm sure this is all going to need sorted out at some point, but at least I believe it's all here. And then this other one, oh, one must be one door, one must be the other. So if I can figure out which door is which by these parts, unless they're the same, I'll get that sorted out. And then lastly, there's these parts. So maybe a trunk bracket cover or something. I don't know. Like I said, if anybody knows exactly what some of this is, let me know. That looks like a latch of some sort. Maybe it's either the trunk or the, I mean, you got shoulder bolts in here. That was probably an old horn button. This, oh look, keys. I didn't know I had keys. And I know the ignition switch doesn't have keys, so this is, looks like a lot of steering column stuff, but anyhow, we'll figure that out too when we get there. So we'll go ahead and start emptying out more of the inside. Okay, we got the inside, all the parts out of the inside. So to give you a better look, I believe the back there, so it is a Del Rey interior. I believe that's what I've seen. I've looked up some of the stuff. Still got most of the stuff on the inside. Headliner's there, but that part's not no good. But anyways, but it has roll-up windows in the back. But the front seat, I assume it's out of something else. Doesn't match the rest, but it does flip forward like a seat, the two-door seat should. And then, like I said, the interior, I don't think they took much out of the dash, and so it's all still in here. And then, so what I got out of the inside, so there's the door panels. Like I said, they're not horrible. I mean, they probably need replaced. And then a couple window sashes, I think they call them. And then a front bumper and a rear bumper. And I believe that's the hood chrome going across there. And then this was an interesting piece. I had to kind of look up, figure out what it was, but it looks like if you're going to make a gasser, it's a piece of fiberglass that goes on the front. And I thought at one time there was a bumper that went across the front, but I don't remember for sure. Obviously not. Maybe I seen it when I was looking stuff up. But and then we got a couple splash pans for underneath. I'm not exactly sure if they're both for this car or one's for something else. But there's one here behind this door trim. I'm not sure. There's that. And then let me set this down. And there's another one over here. So I don't know what the difference is or why there's two of them. They don't appear to be the same. So if anybody knows, one's shorter, one's longer. Everybody knows the difference. Different years, I assume. And then we got those ends, the grill, the chrome that goes across the top of the door, and the bumperettes, front and rear. And then again, there's a drive shaft in the trunk and a cross member. But then there's also this box that I found that, what is that, Hull's Body Shop. I think I looked up that OER number, and I think it's a cross member also with mounts for like a 700 R4 or a 350 turbo or something. I haven't really taken it out to look at it. And then there's the front inner fenders. So both of them just in the front, right? A little rough there. But on the back side, I'm sure you guys probably already know. Maybe the front side's a piece that goes bad, but doesn't look like anything you couldn't fix. And then both front glass and the wing windows, and again, a lot of the blue overspray on everything. So I was put on notice, it's time to go. I think we're running in town for a while. I'll probably look up online, see if I figure out what kind of hardware those hinges need. But we'll get back on this probably tomorrow and continue to take both seats out and pull up the carpet. And then I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by what we see underneath. It's pretty rough. So like I said, my goal here is, after inventorying all this and everything, is to, get the hardware for the doors. This is my plan going forward, unless somebody's got a better one or can point me to a video, is to hang those doors on there and get them fitting really good, especially up around the top, around here. And if I can get that, where this hasn't been hacked up, at least down to here, right? If I can get that all aligned pretty good around there, I'm assuming that'll help me with my rockers and my floor pan. I probably should weld a brace across also or something. Like I said, if you've done it, I've seen people do it on videos where, everybody knows Dan at DD Speed Shop, man. He cut the whole roof and made a two-door out of one, and the center folded in, and it still come out looking pretty nice. I don't want to do all that. I think there's enough structure in the roof and the pillars that, it'll be enough to get me started. But again, any feedback, or if you can drop a link to another video, when the rockers, the door jamb, and the floor are all no good, where should you start? What should you line up first, second, third? So we'll get this out of here. This will probably be the end of it for this video. So hopefully by the next one, I'll get some answers. I'll do some more research on it and stuff. And then we'll get a better picture of the inside. And then we can decide how we're going to go forward. So I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Again, Happy New Year. It's freezing out here, but we got to make progress on something. Spring will be here before you know it. I want to drive it in the spring. I don't want to be working on it in the spring. So I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Have a good one.